Hi everyone, this is Sunette, and in this solo video, we're going to be having a look at sound and how the sound, the presence, the feel of your voice can assist and support in your process of redefining and living words. Now, a little something that many have shared with me, they experience when they start defining, redefining, and living words, is that they get to the defining process, which is, let's take, for example, the word bothered. This has been, and I have a little smile, you've been caught out, a little smile, from the perspective that bothered has been the word that I've been working with and walking through for quite some time, actually, well, not quite some time, maybe a few weeks now, in opening up all the dimensions and layers of who I am within the word bothered, because, I've had this experience inside of me, my solar plexus, like slowly creeping up for some time. It started with a couple of days and I could feel it there in the background. And, it was kind of getting to know myself and my relationship with my emotions and my body and my awareness a lot better throughout, the many years of walking this process. I already from the get-go knew, this is an unfamiliar feel. So I didn't quite exactly know what I was working with from the get-go. So I just allowed it to kind of develop in me. Now, it's also amazing, the relationship with your mind, your emotions, the experience of yourself that change when you become more aware of the fact that, look, you're not initially going to know everything when it comes to understanding, getting to know, learning and discovering your own mind, your own emotions, how they really feel, the effect of them, and how they influence your everyday life living. And therefore, within that, realizing that you're not going to know everything, you give yourself the chance to get to know it. And sometimes when I know, okay, I'm working with an experience inside of me that I haven't yet defined, I haven't yet worked with it because I do not know it, it's like unfamiliar, that I'll give it the chance and opportunity to really move inside of me so I can feel it, learn about it, discover it, get to know it. Whereas in the past, I used to immediately, like when I'm in a emotion or experience or there's something in me, go in like a frantic state of reacting because I'm reacting, becoming emotional because I'm feeling bothered. Now it's like, okay, there's something in me. And I was aware of it, and I could sense and experience and feel how it's changing me, how my thoughts were changing. They were becoming more irritant, like very sharp, almost very emotional, like throwing a mini tantrum. And I was like, okay, this is interesting, this particular signature and feel, and how my thoughts are changing. And so it's like kind of, experiencing it and being in it, but observing it at the same time. It's like you start learning how to be able to do that in your relationship with your own mind. And so for some time, I started becoming aware of this energy more and more inside of me. So when it really started, I could feel it affecting my body. I could feel it starting to affect and come through in my words, in my behavior. And if I continue in it, it was going to start creating consequence. So it's like that warning sign of, okay, girl, you need to really stop now and look into that. Kind of reached the point of getting to know this a little bit better. And then I sat with my defining process. And this is the point where in the defining process, it was so easy to define it once I did give myself the time to really get to know it, not initially react to it. And that's where I eventually got into defining it as being bothered. But now, bothered was such a vast word. And since then, been walking through, okay, but what exactly defines this being bothered within myself? And in that process, it's easy to write it out, to walk it through, to see where and in what moments in my everyday life I was accepting and allowing myself to go into that being bothered reaction. So there, I was already living the word. I was already in it. I was already as it. It had effectively come through for me to see, experience, and define, and now I can redefine and change my living, and so change myself and my everyday life experience with this word bothered and everything that's being attached to it. So yes, I've been working with the word bothered for a few weeks, but within that, I've also opened up so many other words and points to walk through. Now, the point being that so many walk the defining process very easily, over time, whether immediately or giving themselves some time to get to know the emotion or the thought pattern or the behavioral pattern. But when it comes to the redefining, it feels like they can't fit themselves into the word. It's like they don't feel like, it's like the word becomes the suit, and they're trying to dress themselves in this word and in the suit, but it's like, it feels like you've always been this girl, like let's say with me, farm girl, comfortable clothes, jeans and a top, for example. And now all of a sudden it's like dressing in this gown and these high heels and glitter and sparkles and frills everywhere and puffed out dress, for example. And it's like, yeah, I don't see that happening. So in this video series, we're going to be having a look at how your sound, your voice, you're getting to know your presence, experience, and feel as a word by speaking it and sounding it for yourself. And, let's say getting to know that presence, awareness, self experience in a word, as a word in your body, and how first also doing that will and may assist and support you to, in your everyday life moments, be able to redefine and change yourself in real time moments. So in other words, like for me, with starting with the word bothered, there was this moment where I had to align myself, surprisingly enough, and really just anchor myself. But in that particular moment, the context and the definition of the word anchor, it just felt like I couldn't get into it. I've already kind of redefined and lived the word anchor for myself in many previous moments and context within my life, which is also what we've shared in videos before, that you can have an initial definition for a word like anchor and an initial way that you redefine and live it, but always leave room for flexibility, expansion, change. Don't get stuck in, I'm living the word anchor in this way and this way only. Also allow yourself to expand in words. You might find the same word has a similar but different definition and way of living and applying in some moments as opposed to others. And it's like, okay, I knew I had to be and become and live and express the word anchor, which I usually do by slightly tapping my feet on the floor, like shifting my weight, putting my shoulders back, lifting my chin up slightly, taking a breath, and I'm here. This is my physical relationship of a moment of a correction that I use as a reference for myself, that I'm anchoring myself. It's me standing, like with every movement I do with my body, with my feet slightly to the right and to the left, putting my right shoulder back, my left shoulder back, putting my chin up. Every movement I say, anchor, 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 anchor. But that particular moment, it didn't work. I was like, no, how's this not working? I've always done it this way. And so from that moment as well comes in this point of sound. So now I had to find the redefined and lived word for the word anchor in the context of when I'm bothered. And this I'll continue with in the next video. But what I'd like everyone to take with you for this video is to assist and support yourself in having a look at what words have you tried before that you've kind of given up on maybe, where you just didn't feel like you fit into it, and then you thought, okay, maybe the problem is the word. When I'd like everyone to be able to go back to those words and realize it wasn't so much about the word, but you also preparing yourself to merge with the word. It's like you've got to meet the word halfway. All right, so the word's kind of ready for you to integrate and amalgamate, but because you're still, stuck in a defined self, you're not allowing yourself to meet it halfway and unify with it. So this technique will help you, meet the words inside yourself and your life halfway, and how to realize that, yes, I can be a farm girl in one moment and dress in a gown in another if I'd like. It's just about the expression that I am and how I define who I am, within the extension of me as what I wear, for example. Same as with words. You dress yourself in the word being bothered for a moment, and obviously in that's going to become an extension of you and how you live and experience yourself. Now I have to dress myself in the word anchor, but the context of the word anchor within a given moment. Same with gowns, like for example, I can wear one type of gown in one context, but in another, because of cultural, historic, religious differences, it wouldn't fit. So I have to wear a different one. Even in that difference, I have to change my expression. All right. So just a nice example for everyone to take with you, and we'll continue more in videos to come.